Welcome. It's Global Reports on Liberty Television. It's great to be back after a 3-month break, but we're back fresh to start again. Here in Kaduna in the newsroom with our crew, broadcasting across Nigeria, across West Africa, and around the world on libertytvradio.com. Welcome. Today I have in our studio our old friend Ferdinand Okonkwo.
Thank you.
Welcome once again.
Thank you. I would say happy Salah.
Happy Salah. Thank you. In arrears. Well, this last few months have been busy, and the last week, as we know, we cover the news reports globally from around the world in the last week. This week, been a busy week. We've had hurricanes across the Caribbean, hurricanes across the southern United States. Let's watch a clip from BBC.
The British Virgin Islands look like they've been hit by the blast wave of a bomb. On the biggest island of Tortola, houses have been ripped apart and contents scattered for miles. An over 20-foot wave surge crushed boats, beaching them among the rubble.
It started off with wind.
Oren Glasgow was at home as Irma hit.
This section of my mom's room, the roof came off. Then my bedroom came off. We went to the living room. Glass started to burst. We had all of this boarded up.
You've lost everything.
Everything.
People talk about the winds that came through here as if they were alive, as if it come from another world. And now 5 days after the hurricane struck, they're in desperate need of food, of shelter and clean water. Others are just simply desperate to leave. The shock of seeing this terrifying force of nature is overwhelming. Some are trying to fly home to relatives in the UK. The Masson family made it to this shelter after neighbours with machetes hacked through debris to help them hike from their damaged home.
We don't know what planes are going or when they're going. Literally this morning was the first time we'd really had any news at all of what was happening.
Some residents have criticised the UK government's response to this crisis as pathetic and slow. There are also reports of looting across the island as many are desperate for basic supplies. There are large queues for food and for petrol. Help has now arrived. The British military have brought aid and are already re-establishing order. They're working on a plan to try to restore power and water. One woman told me she wept with relief as she saw the plane land. Hurricane Irma's trail of destruction is vast, and yet the Caribbean spirit prevails. As our team walked the streets, so many people told us the same message. They are simply grateful to be alive. Laura Becker, BBC News, Tortola.
That's the scenes in the Virgin Islands, British Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. Of course, you've already seen scenes from United States, from Cuba, across the Caribbean. But where do hurricanes come from? Well, guess what? They come from here. They come from West Africa.
West Africa.
If we look at the other clip,
Yeah.
short clip, you can see a little bit about that. Can we watch the other clip? Well, there you have it. Where do hurricanes come from? They come from our parts of the world. But they say the speed of the hurricanes and the size of the hurricanes have been getting larger because of the temperature of the seas. The whole thing about global warming and climate change, it's affecting the weather.
Yes.
And people who are saying, trying to tell everybody we're not affecting the weather the way we live, us humans. Better check. Ferdinand, what do you think about hurricanes?
Well, our heart goes out to those who lost their loved ones, to those who lost the properties. Over 37 deaths already counted at the Caribbeans, 10 in US so far. And who knows, the casualties are increasing. You can quantify the level of damages in terms of materials. Well, what can we say than to say we sympathize with them? But it's a warning to those who are still opposing the global warming, the means of restricting global warming. The President of America recently withdrew the signature of the former
Paris
president.
Agreement.
They canceled the Paris Agreement. Well, thank God we generate the hurricane and ship it to some people over there.
Ironic.
What can we say? If we continue to do this grandstanding, living today as if there will be no tomorrow, for that is the only way one can qualify America's stand, Trump's stand on the issue
Isolationism.
of global
Ignore the
warming.
rest of the world.
You can't live in isolation. And a thing such as this, they are not issues that you have total control over. No matter how prepared you are, I don't know how prepared you will be to wage a war against hurricane. It's a natural war. It's a natural occurrence. The only means of controlling it is to control our own input into the environment.
Yeah. It's clear we are having
We
an
have
effect,
a serious effect.
whatever people say.
Of course, we have serious input in what is happening. What can we do? It's just to restrict the area of our input in order to restrict the level of destruction we are witnessing. At the same time, our hearts go out to them. What can we say?
What can we say? It's something which can affect us all.
Oh no.
So let's move on. We're also looking at the news of the suffering of the Rohingya people, who are an ethnic group living in Mynamar, which used to be Burma. We've talked about this on the program last year, and the problems appear to be getting worse. They're a minority ethnic group who are predominantly Muslims, living in a predominantly Buddhist country. And I always thought Buddhists were supposed to be very gentle people, but it appears not in Mynamar.
Things are changing.
Yeah, and apparently over 300,000 Rohingyas are fleeing Mynamar and going to Bangladesh, where there's apparently over 400,000 in refugee camps already. Watch this clip from BBC World Service.
ফুটবলের মতো গজাতি জিবে কুলতে লাতি মারলে কুলে যায় কুলতে লাতি মারলে কুলাই
আর রোহিঙ্গা হইলাম দে আরখানর আর আছে বেশি সমসংখ্য তে আর আছে তারা অন্য আছে বুদ্ধিস্ট কম আছে
আর বর্মারও ন বাংলাদেশেরও ন তো বাদা আর রতন হারা পেলে আর তো বাংলাদেশের রতন নাই বরবাদের রতন নেই আর এই কুলো নো আর হনালে বুঝে
মানে সকল সরকারের দরিদ্র জিওলদের গড় ফুরাদি ফেলার মামুন কলরে মেট্রি দরিদ্র নির্যাতন করে আর লক্ষ লক্ষ মানুষ হারিয়ে ফেলার
আল্লাহ এবার এখন কে না জানে আলাদা আছে এখন বেশি চিন্তার মাঝে
তরকা রোহিঙ্গা বলে যতন নাম আসছিল নাম তা আর এই দাম হিয়ান গেল গই আর ইজ্জতে গেল গই নামও গেল গই দামও গেল গই
দুনিয়া তো যেদুন মানে কি দুনিয়া গিয়া বাংলাদেশ গুঁড়া দিলে তো আর এটা না থাকি মারা পুরো দেশান পালে যাই মহানবিতা যার নাম বাধাবালা সিধি আমরে
It's a very sad situation over there in between Myanmar and Bangladesh. A situation that's gone on for far too long, and people are surprised that the leader of civilian leader of Myanmar, which is a lady named Aung San Suu Kyi, long been a person who supported human rights, seems to be not caring about these people. What do you think, Ferdinand?
It's a delicate, very dangerous issue. We have a situation at hand where it seems the world is looking the other way. It's not only a religious issue, it's more of an ethnic cleansing. You should remember the history of the Rohingyas in Myanmar. These are people, according to their history, after the British ruled them from 1824 to 1948. By 1948, many of them were migrating from the Indians, the Bangladesh, and other Far Eastern countries into Myanmar. And these are the people they refer to today as Rohingyas. They live at the Rakhine state. And after 1948, by the passing of the Union Citizens Act, they were granted partial citizenship, which enabled most of them to participate in the parliament. But the military coup of 1962 turned around the whole thing. The military declared them stateless. They declared them non-indigenous and began to maltreat over 1 million people. But the situation didn't help itself by this new citizenship law of 1982, denied them completely the rights in education, participation in politics, and the rest. And from that day till the moment, there have been, total onslaught of the military power on these people. No movement, no right to speak. The state has no right to protect them.
They're stateless.
They are stateless. How could a people who have lived in a place for over 50 years, over 100 years, centuries,
over 100 years,
be regarded as stateless?
And they had their own state at one time.
Okay. They said now they are categorizing them once more, saying that those who will collect citizenship are the people who will have proof that their parents have been living there prior to 1948. For God's sake, my brother, who and who could be tracing your parents prior to 1948? This is pure act of, man inhumanity to man.
And even Bangladesh, who's giving them some kind of shelter.
Thank you.
The president of Bangladesh is.
They are providing shelters, but they are denying them. That they are not their citizens. Indians are not ready to welcome them. Bangladeshis are not ready to welcome them. Southeast Asian countries are not ready to welcome them. Where will they go? How do you want them to exist? Now, you don't want them Could you say it's because of religion? It could play a role, but that is not the issue
Because
here.
the surrounding countries
The
are
issue
Muslim
here
countries.
is that because you said predominantly Muslims, which means there are other people that are not Muslims, but by reason of their origin, you are segregating against them. Now they formed an army, so to say, to protect themselves. And you are calling them terrorists.
But what is so
One man's terrorist is another man's freedom
exactly.
fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
There
But
is no way you can hold people to ransom for a law.
What is so surprising is the leader of Mynamar, this woman who got the Peace Prize, Aung San Suu Kyi.
A beneficiary. She is a Nobel Peace Prize holder.
Yeah.
But the truth you must know is that the president, as it is today, does not have control over the military.
Well,
she
that's
has no
the issue.
control
Is
over-
it because she has no control over the military, or she is ethnically biased herself?
There is a combination of both. Even though she's ethnically biased, because you know it is a national pursuit, so to say. This is a national agenda. If she moves away from this national agenda, she's the enemy of Myanmar. And secondly, if she says she will fight this monster, who will she go and carry the gun to begin to fight?
That's the
No,
problem.
the military calls the shot in this case. And they are the one that are executing this project. The project of total destruction of a population.
She's walking a tightrope between the military and the...
It was said the other time that she set up a committee headed by the former UN Secretary General,
Yes,
Kofi
Kofi Annan, yeah.
The result
Kofi
came
Annan,
up.
yeah,
The result came out this
yeah,
August,
yeah.
and she promised to execute everything that
laid
is
out in
contained in that
report,
report. One of the major things in that report is that they must stop. You must stop by all means this total onslaught on these people. But how will she achieve this? The only solution moving forward is the international community to move into this place and put a weight upon Myanmar to leave these people.
Leave them alone, give them a place
Give them a place to stay. Give them a chance to determine, to live their lives. Give them a chance to practice the religion they choose to. You can't muzzle these people. You can't beat them and at the same time tell them not to talk, tell them not to cry.
Anyway, Ferdinand, we must move on.
We must move on.
We don't have much time on this program.
It's most annoying.
We need
how
an hour.
we create
We need an
problems
hour for this
and begin to turn around to solve that same problem.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Also, in the news this week, we're coming back to Nigeria. We still have the problem of we had the problem of the northern youth saying that the Igbos should quit northern Nigeria. At the moment, the problem is less, I think. The northern elders agreed that it wasn't the case, that they didn't want Igbos to leave. But let's watch this video from AFP News Line Service.
It's not easy for people, for someone to just tell you to get up from where you are to go to another place. It's not also in their position to say that. The threat has generated tension among the Igbos, and really, some people are leaving. Some people will still want to leave because we are afraid of being attacked. We are afraid of repeat of 1966 event. And that is why the reason why most of us want to take precaution so that whatever will happen, then everybody will be safe.
Ferdinand, I know you'll have something to say on this subject. It's near to your heart.
Of course, if we had had time, it's something that one has to say a lot about, because this is a country where it baffles me what we think. While others are working on integration, we are working on disintegration. Many countries are coming together, forming one organization or the other to pull together a force to reckon with. In Nigeria, we are trying to break down to forces that will turn to mushroom countries here and there. if you touch this nation today and speak about breaking it up, we will keep breaking up until we get to the point where families will demand for their own country. That is the truth of the matter.
The truth of the matter.
The best thing for us is to continue to be together.
Yeah, we're stronger together.
No matter how we see it, we must have to come together to be together. And two wrongs does not make a right.
No.
One Nnamdi Kanu somewhere cannot speak for me. Yes, I cannot go and place my hand on his mouth and say, "Hey, guy, you must not talk." All right. But he can't speak for me. He was born after the war. He didn't
experience the war.
He didn't experience the war. So he could call for war anytime, any day, anytime he likes. But one thing must be made clear. This is not a banana country. This is a country that is responsible. Somebody who has declared war with the state must be handled likewise.
Exactly.
And you shouldn't push a whole nation to the wall because somebody somewhere is calling for disintegration. I shouldn't be punished because of Nnamdi Kanu. I shouldn't be told to go to UK, your country, or relocate to Kenya because one Nnamdi Kanu is raising a voice somewhere demanding for disintegration. I stand for one Nigeria, which would be better for us if we decide to build this as a nation. If we decide to, push behind those things we see as our differences. There is no country in this world that doesn't have their own challenges. Why must we make our own challenges a front-burner issue? We should learn to live together. God did not make a mistake in bringing us together.
Nigeria is stronger, unified. On that point, on that positive point, I hope, we will have to close the show. Regretfully, our time is up, and we wish to thank Ferdinand once again for coming on the program. Thanks also to our TV crew here in the studio, and thanks again to you all at home, in your homes, your offices, and your places of work, for watching and sharing our program. Please feel free to leave comments on our Facebook page, and we hope to see you same time next week, same place. Have a fantastic week. Goodbye.